All right, so I wanted to go over a few things from last week's work. So here you were to organize these Pikachus. You were to talk about what you noticed within this population and basically go over your observations and organize them within the population. So you could have started off by going from light to dark, maybe if it had stripes versus polka dots versus nothing on its skin. You could have did this any kind of way, and I basically took any response as long as it was applicable to what you guys were doing. So then you were to watch this video, and here it talks about fur color, neck length, and all examples of different what in the australopes can have, and that should have been traits. The next one says differences in neck length, color, and fur are all examples of how traits have variation within a population. So the correct answer was variation. I want you guys to understand because I'm noticing that you guys are mixing these two up. You're mixing variation and traits up. So these are all different traits. So within a population, you'll have different organisms that'll have. So the key word is within a population. So whenever you see within a population, then that's how you know that that's how you know it's a variation versus a trait. I hope that kind of clears it up. The next one says blank helps scientists easily see the variations of traits within a population. So the correct answer there was a histogram. So you should have put histogram. Why are histograms helpful? Well, we know that histograms are helpful because you can easily just zone in on the variations within those populations. Variations are differences in physical traits of individuals in the same population. What is a histogram? Basically, is where you see different traits within a organized manner. Um, yeah. Distribution is best defined as the number of individuals with each trait in a population. In your own words, define the term population. So you should have put something there where it was all organisms within the same species in a given area. And we kind of went over that last week. So all of these things were basically like a continuation from that. The next one, you had to watch this video. After you watched this video, you needed to answer these questions. The first question says, how can humans selectively breed a vegetable to produce a more desirable crop? So now we're kind of we're leaving variations and we're moving into natural selection versus selective breeding. So I want you guys to understand that selective breeding happens from humans, while natural selection happens from actual nature. So selective breeding is when humans are involved and can manipulate the outcome of offsprings by selecting the parents. Humans can change the offspring of vegetables by only selecting the most desirable offspring and allowing them to reproduce with each other. This process is much faster than natural selection. So with natural selection, those favorable traits are those that are passed down, but it takes years and generations, and it takes a very long time for that to happen in nature. So with selective breeding, you can speed that process up. So, what is natural selection? Was the next question. So, natural selection is the process by which random evolutionary changes are selected for by nature in a consistent, orderly, non random way. So, it just doesn't happen. It's very consistent and it takes a long time. That's why it takes a very long time. The next question says, explain how natural selection allows beetles that are camouflaged to flourish in their environment. So basically, it talks about if the green beetles are camouflaged on a green plant, then the predators are less likely to eat them, right? Because they're camouflaged. Beetles that have contrasting colors like brown or black are going to stick out more to predators, and that species will ultimately die off. So with that one, camouflage is actually really important in for different organisms so they can hide and do different things. And if you went to my Zoom meeting or if you watched a Zoom meeting, if you didn't get a chance to attend, then you'll see what we're talking about. I showed a video on polar bears and how it started off there. They did start off with brown fur, and then eventually a mutation happened, and then they became white, and then those white ones were the more favorable ones because they didn't get eaten, et cetera, et cetera. So next I wanted you to draw a beak according to these things, and those beaks were awesome. I want to show you some of the ones that I got. So Oh, wait. Okay. So here are some of the beaks that I received. I'm going to post some of these because they were just so great. I really, really enjoyed seeing them. So here were some. I actually got some more specific ones, like this one. You kind of have to like, I haven't turned it, so you'll have to like look with your eye, with your neck. But yeah, so you have the different. They were able to give me the organism that they would eat, and then the type of beak that they would need to get that organism. So overall, you guys did an amazing job on this. Good job. Your notes were awesome. You just had to take notes. That was really good. You did great on that. For the CER, so for the CER, you basically needed to tell me that it talks about write a scientific explanation of how natural selection applies to this process. So basically, you at this point, you should know that natural selection happens over time, right? It's something that doesn't just happen like overnight, right? So as you can see, these giraffes' necks weren't as tall. They couldn't really grasp the tree, right? The leaves on a tree. Well, eventually over time, they kept stretching and stretching to where they were able to. And then finally, they are able to actually eat those leaves, right? So, what I wanted you to tell me something was what would be your claim? So, your claim could have been at first that over time, the giraffes are able to eat the leaves on the tree, right? And then this happened in nature where the desirable traits were passed down over time. What would be evidence? So your evidence could be like in picture 1, you talk about what you saw. In picture 2, you talk about what you saw there versus what you see in picture 3. And then what was your reasoning? Here, you'll just tell me what natural selection is and how you know that this was able for them to pass these things down. All right, guys, that was that week. I'll go ahead and talk about natural selection a little bit. I mean, your exit ticket. I'll provide feedback on that a little bit later. Bye, guys. Mommy.